Do you remember your first experiences with the water? Everyone says yes. That's why it's of the utmost importance to us to make sure that their first experience, a Tankproof kid's first experience, is absolutely amazing. How powerful can it be if it's a positive experience instead of a negative one? How much more confidence can we build upon that? That's what the organization is all about.
So Brothers Fresh, Torrence, Thurman, welcome to the podcast. How you guys doing today?
Doing good, man. We are so happy to be here. Shout out to Pool Chasers for incorporating you boys into this cool content. This is right up our alley, and we're excited to get into it.
I've been looking forward to this interview even before we even spoke to each other. Our mutual friend, Lee Russell of Russell Pools, Louisiana, he's the one that made the connection. And if you're listening, Lee, thank you very much, because we've had a couple phone calls, been texting back and forth, and I'm like, dude, I don't know how the hell I hadn't heard of you guys, because you're doing some incredible things.
Oh, thank you so much, brother. We appreciate it. Shout out to Mr. Lee Russell as well. Shout out.
Yeah. How long has Lee been working with you guys?
Man.
Good question.
Mr. Lee.
Well, I'll go a little bit further back. I've just being in kind of like the small city or small town where we're from, Russell Pools has always been like a staple in the community.
A household name, as they say.
Yeah. So I've known of the brand Russell Pools for a while. But as far as, knowing Mr. Lee, just over a year. We haven't once we really connected, it was cool to put like a name with a face. Like, oh, you're the guy behind Russell Pools. Yeah, so cool.
Yeah, he's seriously one of the coolest dudes ever. He's flown out here to Scottsdale and done a podcast, and his wife, they're just, some of the most down-to-earth, cool people. And I've heard you talk about people from Louisiana just having that, go get it mentality, that grit. Do everyone in Louisiana connect on that?
Yeah, we really do. And I think it's just because if you look basically at the numbers, because I've had a conversation with a few people about this. And if you look at the stats, you look at the numbers, Louisiana is 50th in opportunity as a state. Out of all the 50 states, it's last in opportunity. That means that since opportunity is not there, you have to think differently, or you have to almost create the opportunity. And I think, that being a byproduct of, that obviously is a negative impact or negative thing. But the positive thing is that, hey, it builds some resilient people. You don't take no for an answer. You figure it out. FIO is the name of the game. And so for people that are like Lee Russell, that are in the community that we're from, that are crushing it, that we've seen their names since we were kids. And it goes and shows to the testament of the hard work of, individuals like himself. And we're just trying to, carry on that culture of, some hardworking Louisianians. That's all.
Yeah, super random, but I've been to New Orleans one time for a pool show.
Just one time?
Just one time. And I will never forget this. We went to a Domino's one night, and the gentleman that helped us at the Domino's, it was the best customer service I ever had in my entire life. And it was at a Domino's. And this dude, he was hustling. He's like, you need anything? And, after taking care of us for 15 minutes, getting our order, he asked for a tip. But the way he did it, I don't remember exactly how he did it, but it was so good. I gave him $15 because I was like, dude, well worth it. I just respected that hustle so much, and it's always stuck with me. I wish I could remember everything he said, because I'm always looking at that kind of stuff. And he just kind of wooed me. It was pretty incredible.
And that's the culture, man. Like I said, we've been in Austin for a little minute, and we've been away from home for the longest stretch that we've been away, kind of recently. So, we went back home a couple of weeks ago, and that's people here in Austin are nice, but going back home again, I was like, wow, people are really nice.
Yeah, I felt it. And it's a different kind of response just because culture is just different. People are taught to communicate to strangers. Hey, how's your day? Hey, good morning. When we come out here, we don't experience those things as much that we thought were norms. Where we're from, we thought, yeah, everybody does that. No big deal. But no, everybody doesn't do that. So that aspect made us appreciate home just a little bit more.
You're both twins, accomplished creatives and musicians. I mean, where did this idea of Tankproof come from?
Well, the idea of Tankproof really just stemmed from the music, man. We got inspired by, you remember those Live 8 concerts that used to come on VH1? We got inspired by one of those 11 years ago. And we're like, wow, that's so cool that these huge, artists and musicians are using their gifts and in music and their platform to make the world a better place. And we're like, okay, with this small, little, bitty, tiny, minuscule platform that we have, what can we do? So, we just got touched by a story that, and this is a tragedy that happened in Louisiana at the time where it was 6 family members that drowned. And the story went, they were all trying to save one another. And so that caused us to do some research. We're like, well, from this research, we've discovered that the stereotypes we've been hearing our whole lives have some truth to them. Now, what do we do about this? Okay, we got the problem. I got some research to know why it is a problem, the cause of the problem, which goes back to slavery, goes back to civil rights, lack of access, lack of equity in the world of aquatics. So now we're like, okay, how can we be the solution to this as musicians?
So as musicians, it was very simple. We just decided, hey, why don't we just sell some band merch? And so we had some band merch, and the purpose of the band merch was to take the proceeds and use that to pay for kids' swimming lessons. Very simple. And the first year we had a goal to help 10 kids and ended up selling enough merch to help 60. The next year came around, our friends were like, hey, you guys doing that thing with the tank tops, helping teach kids how to swim? And we're like, yeah, I think so. We really had no plans to do it again, but we ended up doing it again, double that number to 120. And as the numbers began to grow, we noticed that, hey, the need is obviously there, and we have to do whatever we can in our power to make sure we can cater to that need. And so after year 3 came, we decided that, hey, to better cater to this need, because we did our scan of search around organizations across America doing what we were doing, I couldn't find any. Maybe 1 or 2 regional spots, and maybe there was 1 free program in 1 city, but nothing at scale. So we just decided to say, hey, look, maybe we can do this in multiple cities. And that's what got us on that journey to be able to kind of do what we do today.
So you guys started in Louisiana, and then where was your first move? Where was the first place you set up shop after?
So first place in Louisiana was that we were partnering with a swim school called Crawfish Aquatics in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. And they were like, hey, look, we want to do something to give back, but we just don't have time to organize all of this. If you guys have the time to do it, we have the swimming pool, and we'd love to offer our instructors give them something to do in the extra free hour that they had. And so we're like, okay, let's do it. So that's how it started. And then about 4 years of just doing that, 4 years later, we started developing our own curriculum, got our own kind of pool space in the city of Gonzales, Louisiana, that they allowed us to use. And I think once we started doing that, that kind of helped to frame the model of how we go about doing swimming lessons everywhere. We're all over the country now. We've kind of spread out, I'll say thinly, across the country.
Yeah, we're kind of playing on the corners of the country. So right now we're in, of course, a couple sites in Louisiana, but Austin, Texas, Dallas, Plano area, LA, San Francisco, Seattle. We're in New York. We are also in Nashville. And these cities are, been good to us and really strategic for us as we begin to, grow the organization and really try to bring as much impact as we can.
Congratulations on all of your success. That's really
Thank
cool
you,
that
brother.
you come from this small little town in Louisiana, and now you've got brands for Tankproof all over the country. We're going to help spread that message. So, for somebody that doesn't know how to swim, hasn't, done it before, can you walk us through what that process looks like? If I didn't know how to swim and I came to one of your guys' events, what happens exactly?
I think the first thing that they are going to get is an experience. I think the first thing before anybody ever comes in contact with Tankproof, before we get into the water, we want you to get a feel of what the organization is about. So most people, they're going to go to www.tankproof.org. If you're listening to this, you can go ahead and go there now if you want to. So people come in contact with our organization mostly through either social media or just word of mouth. And we try to do an excellent job to show the work that we do on these various outlets. So, for example, they go through the portal, they're wowed by what they see, great, they sign their child up, but now they come to the actual session.
So when they come to the session, right, they're going to see us before they actually come in contact with us physically. So
They're going to hear us before they actually Talk to us.
Right. So, our lessons are like any other lessons, man. We have music going. The vibes are good. The vibes are high. We as musicians understand the power of music. And so we try to incorporate that into our lessons. One, to make kids more calm, to take their minds a little bit off of the stress and the anxiety that they're having to work through. And so when the kids come into class, it's just comfortability. I say first day is like, it's like the opening scene of Saving Private Ryan, if I could just keep it frank. I mean, it's kids
Throwing up, crying for their mamas.
Stand up.
stand up. Yeah.
Just stand up. It's okay. It's all right. Yeah.
So, but I'll say that bond that begins to happen between the instructor and the student.
Yeah. We take a lot of time day one, and I think that's what sets our organization apart is that we only have usually about 5 days to change a kid's life. So the trust level has to be on 1,000 with this complete stranger that you've never met before. So the first day of class is we take a lot of time and we stress with our instructors to spend time with your kid. Ask them the simple questions before we go into the water as we're sitting on the side of the pool. Hey, what do you like to do for fun? How was school going? What's your favorite dessert? These basic questions help to act as small icebreakers to begin to gain trust, because I'm going to just be frank and honest. Like, we're dealing with multiple factors right here. We're dealing with age gaps. We're dealing with racial gaps and disparities. We got kids that might not have never been around a certain type of group of people before, and vice versa, even on the instructors. So we take those moments very seriously. So the bond is important on day one. After, we create the initial bond, we begin to ask our kids, hey, so let's get into the water. How do you feel about, putting your face in? And so putting your face in is number one. Most of our kids, when they come to our lessons, they experience or have experienced some kind of trauma or fear related to the water. So what we're having to able to do, putting their face in is a simple, easy test to know, okay, and really just to test their confidence level to see, okay, is this child able to, okay, put their face in? Oh, you can do that? Can you hold your breath a little bit longer? That was 2 seconds. You think you can give me 5 seconds? Yeah, I don't think you can give me 5 seconds. Can you do that? Yep. Give me. And so get them involved into the action of doing these simple actions.
And making them feel like they're making the choices. You know what I mean?
That's the big one.
However, we got to flip it, dip it to make them feel like, hey, you are choosing to do this, right? You are choosing to do what we want you to do, which is to learn how to swim.
And so after we put their face in, we start some simple skills as far as teaching them how to use their arms. And then again, we keep the expectation of, hey, look, you're teaching your mind and your body something brand new in 5 days.
This is hard. It's not easy.
It's very difficult. So you have to be patient. And so we use even our time after every day to reinforce these principles, because they got to understand what they're doing is very hard. But they're not the first ones to do it, and they won't be the last. So they can do this. So after we get their legs moving a little bit, we really like to spend a lot of time also with body positioning, floating as well.
And I don't know if you asked for like the whole thing, but yeah, man.
That's kind of like,
I love it.
Down the whole curriculum. Yeah, I'm sure they didn't ask for that.
Go down the whole thing. I mean, most people that are listening to this know how to swim. So, and I tell you what, if you ask anybody who's had swimming lessons, do you remember your swimming lessons? Everybody remembers their swimming lessons. There's something subconsciously searing about that.
Your first experiences with water in general. Yeah. Basically, everyone that I've spoken to over the last, going into our 12th summer doing this, every person that I have asked this question, do you remember your first experiences with the water? Everyone says yes. That's why it's of the utmost importance to us to make sure that their first experience, a Tankproof kid's first experience, is absolutely amazing. How powerful can it be if it's a positive experience instead of a negative one? How much more confidence can we build upon that? That's what the organization is all about.
So I have a question. So I'm familiar with swim schools that are set up, around here and everywhere else. Mm-hmm. You made a comment about 5 days. What's the significance of 5 days? I know those schools are open, year round. Is this a 5-day program? Get as much as you can get into them in 5 days, and then they're off. Or is that right?
Yeah, and to be honest, the kids that we service, they understand that this is a privilege to be able to do this. Again, speaking frankly, these aren't kids that like, oh yeah, mama's going to be paying for this for the next 8 months and I'm just going to come and just do whatever. No, they know that they have this limited time. So they're going to apply themselves. They're going to focus in with
the urgency almost is really, it helps. It helps.
Makes sense.
Because they know they have that finish line that they have to get to. And we make it very clear that, hey, look, this is the mark that we want you to hit. We're going to help to get you there. If you want to get there, we're going to help to get you there.
How far can you get with a kid who maybe doesn't have much swim experience in that 5 days? Like, can you get a kid from I'm scared of the water to he's able to float, or what does that look like?
Man, so the goal is for kids to be able to jump in water over their heads, surface, compose themselves, get their eyes down, use their arms and their legs with the technique that we showed them, get to the wall, pull themselves up and out of the water.
This doesn't mean that you know how to swim. It just means you know how to save yourself if you fall in. You still have to practice at this to be able to get from A to B efficiently. Swimming is cumulative. This is something that you build on. This is just square one, but we want to encourage you. You did square one so great. So look, come back for square two. Check out what square three could look like. Maybe we can encourage them to get on stroke teams and swim teams. And next thing you know, we got a kid in the Olympics. Who knows?
Very nice.
So I read somewhere that one of you had an incident when you were younger, of drowning. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, this is Thurman. I definitely had a near drowning experience that, scared the shit out of me as a kid. I'll never forget that. And I remember the day, it was like at this party post T-ball season, and all my other friends could swim. I couldn't swim, all of our other teammates. And so I just wanted to hang out and be cool with them. And so I just remember just losing my footing and then losing my composure and panicking. And one of the parents, thankfully, was watching. She jumped in and pulled me out. But that's embarrassing, man. Like, nobody wants to feel that. And so I can definitely identify with a lot of these kids who come in with similar experiences. It's a serious thing. And we try to, use how we do to help them get from point A to point B and gain confidence.
I mean, what does that conversation look like when you're talking with other kids where they might be embarrassed to swim because they're like, I should know how because I'm 10, 15.
For example, we had a kid in Dallas, that kid that was hospitalized for a drowning experience. That's probably one of the most powerful stories that we've had recently. I'm smiling because I'm like, yeah, it was beautiful, man. So we had a kid that was had a bad drowning experience in the hospital for at least probably about 2 days, and came to our program and at the Texas pool in Plano. And we have some amazing instructors in our team there in Dallas, and ended up being, and I say this, but he ended up doing it himself. He ended up going through the program and gaining the confidence to do the things that he otherwise before was never able to do. He came from barely being able to put his face in. Now he's jumping in. He doesn't even want to get out the water. You know what I mean? And so it takes a very special level of care and concern, especially from our awesome team of instructors, that we can give to get these kids over that hump, man, because a lot of them feel like that's the end. That's the period. I'm going to be afraid of water forever. But no, you can do this. Just like other millions of people before have learned how to do this, you can do the same thing.
I love that. How do you, market and do outreach to, some of the neighborhoods that might not be able to find you on the internet? And when I first heard this, I thought it was kind of a crazy concept because I'm like, everybody's on the internet, but there's a lot of, places all over the country where that's just not really, a thing. You need like more guerrilla marketing tactics.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, we're a swim organization, but Tankproof is really a community organization. The communities in the cities that we work in, we're there. We pop up not just when it's time to swim, but we endeavor to do it throughout the year so that people know us. Austin has been like a great beta test for us. There's this one specific housing neighborhood community that we work with in Austin. And, we do our food security initiatives there as well. And they know us. They know Tankproof. They know me. They know him. So whenever we pull up or they see the green volunteer shirts and people out, doing cool stuff, they're like, okay, Tankproof is here. I know them. So when it's time to sign up for swimming lessons, we're not strangers. You've seen us before, or if we don't have the opportunity to pop up as frequently as we do in Austin, first year, second year, third year, okay, you know who Tankproof is. You know what time it is when we come in the summer. Look, let's learn to swim.
Yeah, and kind of like you said, it's like guerrilla, but also like grassroots. We actually, and what we've been stressing to a lot of the organizations that want to work with us. I won't name the big swimming ones, But
The big
swimming leagues. I'll leave it there. So they come to us and like, well, how are you able to do what you do? And I'm like, well, you actually have to show up and care and be. I know that they care, but you have to actually show a level of consistency. That's what people respect, because you have to gain the trust of the community. And we've learned to use our food-focused community activations as a way to build trust in the community. Because what better way to build trust than to put, some food in their belly? You know what I'm saying? Like, wow, these people really do care. Now, the same communities that we're actually able to give food to, those same kids, hey, look, we're giving swim lessons in a few months from now. Oh, did we mention there's zero cost? Oh, yeah, fantastic. Rosters are filled, because one of the biggest things that people see in communities of low-income communities when they give free things, one of the biggest arguments is that when nobody shows up, nobody takes it seriously. Well, that's because it's very one-dimensional, and you have to give the first investment. Tankproof sows the first seeds into the community by showing up, being a resource to them, and then from that trust, then we get that participatory, action that we're looking for. We get the classes full. We get consistency because we actually do the giving first, if that makes sense. And Austin is also we wanted to come here because the city is such a case study, because it's it's probably the most segregated city in the country. And just on the sides of the city, if you go from the east side to the west side, you in a whole nother world, topography wise, to the income, obviously, of course, to where the east side is a food desert, the west side, we got all these grocery stores over here. So it gives us an interesting opportunity to see how organizations like ourselves can provide support to communities that need it. Because when we started picking up this stuff from Trader Joe's on Saturdays and stuff like that, I'm like, so they just gonna throw all this stuff away? They're like, yeah, they throw all this stuff away. My mind was just blown away by how much food was just garbage to these nice premium grocery stores, but to these communities that we serve, it's gold. You know what I mean? I got these Abuelas where I'm from. Like, this cheese that they got is $14 usually. You know what I'm saying? Like, giving it to them on the house, man. And so it's like there's so many opportunities that we can have for better nutrition for these neighborhoods too, as well. Better awareness for higher quality foods. So there's so many, opportunities to, help that, we're trying to attack.
We actually care about the kids. We care about the community. And again, talking about, the big swimming, governing bodies or whatever, they want to do things in more, I guess, minority populated communities. But here's the trick. You actually have to care about the people, not just, we want to teach them to swim. Okay, swimming is
cool.
want
to teach them to swim because you want to find another gold medalist. That's what you're looking for. You know what I'm saying? The intention has to, just being honest, man. Like, the intention's got to be with the right thing. But if you come in with the right mindset, of course you're going to find the next gold medalist. You know what I'm saying? Like,
so I'm going to keep this one.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not difficult. And there's ways to develop the sport. I know USA Swimming, I just said their name, they want to continue to develop the sport in these developing communities. And the only way to do that, you got to show up, you got to invest, you got to be there, you got to be consistent and visible.
This episode is brought to you by Poolside Tech. Have you ever wanted your pool lights to dance to the beat of your favorite Spotify playlist? How about built-in water leveling or dirty filter detection? And maybe you need to set restrictions for specific features of your pool with Airbnb mode. Look no further. The Attendant, powered by Poolside Tech, is the latest in pool automation. Their system offers innovative features and applied intelligence to help it think and communicate with both the pool pro as well as the homeowner. The Attendant is vendor agnostic, so it's compatible with equipment from existing manufacturers on the market today. It manages chemistry levels and automatically dispenses chemicals to remove the day-to-day worry. And with the approach to mindfully manage the energy usage of a pool, it checks all those boxes. And did I mention these things look badass? To learn more, you can visit their website at poolside.tech. Again, that's poolside.tech, or find the link in our show notes below. This episode is also brought to you by Raypak. Stop sacrificing durability or efficiency with the help of Raypak's new Avia HD models that utilize NITEC, their exclusive industry-first technology. NITEC heat exchanger technology is Raypak's latest solution to superior strength and maximum efficiency when it comes to residential pool heating. With 900% more nickel compared to copper nickel in critical surfaces, NITEC creates an ideal surface to protect against scale formation and erosion without compromising on Avia's 84% thermal efficiency. Learn more at raypak.com/NITEC. Again, that's raypak.com/NITEC, or visit the link in our show notes below. You can also listen to their episode on 224.
You said earlier that you offer the program at zero cost, and in the interview earlier than that, you mentioned that you started it with proceeds from band merch. Where are you getting the support now to run the program?
People like you and me. It's like we really get a lot of support from the public, which has been such a great blessing because we can't do this without the funds to make it happen. You know, it's zero cost for our kids, but this stuff ain't free. You know what I mean? And so expanding and working in 8 different cities at one time, if you can imagine, is not cheap. So as an organization, we've been blessed to continue to have people to support us. If people are interested in continuing to support, we need it because now we're at that level of, you know, we've gotten from A to B. Now we need, as an organization, we need to take that quantum jump from B to C. You know, and so that means even more impact. That means even greater ways that we can get our name and our brands out there to the people that can continue to support us in ways that, you know, otherwise we didn't have before.
Yeah, people do a great job of supporting us. We also have, you know, a handful of really great corporations and larger businesses that show us love and in a couple of different ways. Sometimes it's a check, sometimes it's brand awareness, but you know, all those things go into the cumulative formula of how we're able to grow this thing.
So maybe now's a good time. Maybe now's a good time to plug. So if anybody's watching or listening and they want to contribute, where do they go?
If you want to contribute to Tankproof, we make it super easy for you. Make sure you go to www.tankproof, that's TANKPROOF.org. Or if you got Venmo, hey, we're on Venmo. Go, our handle is @Tankproof. You're on Cash App, $Tankproof, PayPal, hello@tankproof.org. We try to make it easy for people to support us because I know people ask for help or, yeah, you know, support this cause, support this. How can I make it super convenient for you to support us? And so that's what we endeavor to do.
And don't be a cheap ass. Like, make a significant donation.
Don't be a cheap ass out there. The swimming community has a lot of money in the swimming community. You people pay a lot for your country clubs and things like that.
No, that's facts though.
I'll do $1 a month. You got me. Like, dude, that's not going to get us shit.
No, but like, that's what we want to get though. We want to tap into more of the swimming community because I think, you know, this is just us. We had this kind of thought, you know, it's kind of been resounding with us the last year or so. I guess the success of the organization is that we haven't been in the swimming world because most of the people that aren't in the swim space, they're like, wow, this is an issue? Oh my gosh, here's how I can help. But most people in the swim space are like, yeah, we know about this. It's a thing. Yeah. How can we? Oh, well, somebody else is going to do something about that. Don't worry about it. Yeah, you know, and it is, and it's sad, but we want to, as an organization, continue to build these relationships in the pool community, in the pool space. And because all this is in the world of aquatics. I don't care if you're a water bottle company. Everybody's affected because this issue of teaching kids this life-saving skill is a humanitarian issue. It's a life issue. So especially anyone in the adjacent aquatic space, there is relation, there is overlap, and there is crossover. So if you're listening right now, if you're in the water space, please look us up. Come tap us. Get involved today at tankproof.org. Holla at your boys.
Man, if this doesn't work out for you, you could be a good preacher. I love it.
Oh, man. That's another background. Yeah. How did you know? Oh, my gosh. Yeah, it's another past life.
So you can catch me on Sundays. The Austin Church.
Sundays at, you know.
Tankproof Ministries. Where we go. And,
speaking of the website, that cursor on the website is so dope.
Thank you, man.
I'm like, how that? I didn't even know
Shout
you could do that.
What is it? I didn't see it.
I think it's a water
it's like
drop.
a little. We call him little Walter Drip.
Ah,
little drippy.
nice.
Dude, it's so sick.
I'm excited about this. You know, all the visuals that you see and everything is in house, man. Like we have a great art director. We do well with content. You know, we don't want it to feel like the rest of these swim nonprofits. No offense to our friends out there in the swim world, but we want it to
be different.
Feel premium. We want it to feel almost luxe and approachable to the fact that, hey, people like, this looks surprisingly nice. I mean, I don't know what that means, but like, hey, we look good and we want you to get involved with what we're doing, because most times people see it before they hear it. They see it before they experience it and come in contact with it. So how it looks to us is a big deal.
Yeah. We take a lot of time just to make sure that it might be different touch points. Like it might be a sweatshirt they might connect with somebody. You know what I'm saying? It might be an Instagram post. It might be like a sponsored ad. It might be a word of mouth from someone in the swimming community that knows about Tankproof that tells a friend who doesn't know about it. But whatever it is, we're trying to do that. I'm trying to make sure that our presentation is correct and that everything it just look good and it's on point. It's very important to us.
Well, you beat me to it. I was just about to say that's what we're going to be talking about for the next 30 minutes is
let's do it, man.
But I'm just kidding. But anyway, that is what seriously got my attention and what always gets my attention. And I think that's what gets the attention of everybody in the community. And I just want to talk about, where did your vision for all of this come from? Because you could just tell from the website to the shirts, the long sleeves, the stickers, the volunteer shirts, like the videos that you guys produce, the way that your photos are edited. I mean, it's just so well thought out. Like people want to be a part of it. You know what I mean?
It started with us just having an eye of knowing what looks good and what good looking visuals can do to spur action.
Yeah, we were weird kids. Like, I remember like keeping like certain take-home pamphlets or like take-home items from school, and I wouldn't throw it away just because I liked the graphic design of it or I liked the way that it aesthetically was pleasing to me. And I don't know, we just kind of have always liked to learn and to watch and listen and to ask questions like, what is it about Apple's brand that makes it so powerful? What is it about all these other brands that, that we love so much that makes them so attractive to us? And we wanted to take whatever, formula that we were learning, and especially in our past lives of creating content and the branding and the ad space, take that and marry that with an organization. And marry that with community. So from aesthetics of, how we do our videos. I wanted to look as good as like any up and coming rappers' music videos or something like that. It's got to be on quality. You know what I'm saying?
And we surround ourselves with good people too. Like an ex-president of Nike, big ex-president, top guy. He's on our board. And so having people like that close to like, hey, how does this feel like Nike? Like I wanted to feel like Nike. I wanted to feel like
Tankproof, yeah.
Yes. Yeah. I wanted to feel like Adidas. I wanted to feel like all these brands that people just automatically know and have expectations.
Like for example, like the head global collaborations person for Lululemon is one of our good friends. If I have something that's a hot piece of item, don't you think I'd go to her and be like, hey, what you think about this? What do you feel when you see this? Awesome. You know what I'm saying? So having good people to bounce the ideas off of, having good eyes and kind of learning from it is a lot of learning, a lot of listening, a lot of learning, a lot of if I'm looking at Architectural Digest magazines, one of my favorites, right? I love architecture and things like that. When I'm in it, I'm looking at textures, I'm looking at aesthetics. I'm looking for, okay, this person that might have designed this, it's not that might not be that important to know who they are, but hey, for example, what if we go to New York and we have this awesome architectural photo exhibit with this architect in conjunction with Tankproof, and we can begin to tell stories with water and how water is built into certain structures to bring, light and conservation. You know what I mean? There's so many ways that you can, you know what I'm saying? There's so many ways that you can splinter off of that. We want to make sure that our organization can pretty much mix with anything, almost like a Supreme. I feel like in any artistic space, we should be able to find some place to live and to be able to have a voice for ourselves, because you got to take, it's a bridge. You have to take art and creative things and actually do something with it to help change community, because
being artists, being musicians, being in the music space, we want to challenge our contemporaries, our peers, be like, hey, look, you ain't got to be on Jay-Z level or Beyonce's level or Taylor Swift's level to make a positive impact in the world with what you're doing. Like, you can start from where you at.
We did this with nothing.
We didn't do it with nothing.
In the middle of nowhere.
So, we want to eliminate excuses. We want to inspire people to do the same things. It's not hard. It's not far off. Believe me, everything looks great, but it didn't start off this way. Like it had so many reiterations. It had so many revisions. It had so many proof after proof after proof. And then we started to have our own identity. Then, okay, this feels like us. Okay, then this resonates with people. And all right, now we're building what we want to build. And so it's been 11 years, almost 12 years in the making, man. I feel like we've kind of got it in motion now. We know what fits with us, but
But the brand building was just as important as making sure that because we knew we had to teach kids swimming lessons well, right? But I think what set us apart was that we put brand right there. You know what I'm saying? Just as important as doing our job efficiently and expertly and things like that.
Not only do we believe in doing good, but we gotta look good while doing it. Deion's saying, Coach Prime, he's like, look, if you look good, you play good. If you play good, they pay good. In our case, they donate good, hopefully. But yeah.
But that's what the difference is. It's like the currency's a little bit different. You have something really cool, it's gonna have a wider net, and that's exactly what you want, because we're in a different time. There's a lot of organizations that were created, say, 80s, 90s, early 2000s, when the internet wasn't that big of a deal. But, marketing anything is totally different. So if you're going to be on social media where you're exposing yourself and your brand, like, you have to look good. And I feel like if you're not doing that, it's just a cop out. But everything you were saying about the competition, I think if there's any space that needs competition, it's the one that you're in, because I think since no other people have done what you've done, then a lot of other organizations were just kind of stale and they never really changed anything because you don't really need to. But there's a totally different demographic now where there's people, there's millennials and on down that have kids. And if they see something like that, they're going to be like, yeah, like, I'll fuck with that.
This is where it's at. And you hit the nail on the head.
It's catching too.
We know that it's working. We know that our intent is to build something cultural with this, not just an organization, because it has to live beyond us. We only going to be here on earth so long, right? So it's like there's always going to be kids being born. So there's always going to be a need for Tankproof. And we have to set this organization up while we're here to be able to live and to be able to grow beyond us and to continue to expand and grow. Like, for example, doing crazy stuff. Like as a swimming organization, we donated how would you say it? We sponsored all the water stations at Austin City Limits.
I saw that.
So every person that's going to go fill their water bottles up, they're seeing the brand of Tankproof. They're seeing the stats that, 79% of kids with low-income backgrounds don't know how to swim. African-American kids are 5.5 times more likely to drown. So these messages are coming in contact with more wider audiences. And our goal as an organization is to think outside the box. We want to do the things that are different. Yeah, we want to make this dope new merch capsule, but yeah, we also want to do things like ACL. Like, when is the last time you've seen a nonprofit organization have an activation at a music festival?
Yeah, and just that whole thing was just kind of surreal. I mean, not only did they take care of us, and they gave us these, like, playing it was great. We played ACL was cool, but then also having our organization involved with it.
It still ain't even hit me yet.
Cool.
It still ain't hit me. I'll cry sometime around Christmas holidays just in gratitude. But it's crazy. I mean, like when I think about it, I'm like,
now just seeing it like as a sponsor on like the big stage between acts, like, oh, water stage problem. I'm like, what, dude? Insane.
That's crazy. And building a brand on such a sensitive subject topic, because your brand is very inviting and cool, informative. Yeah. It's really checking all the boxes. And that had to have been difficult in the beginning, because probably when
nobody understood it. You're like, why do you want these t-shirts again? So why are you spending this much on a graphic design? Like, why did you have to do that for a website?
And that's like nonprofit world too. Like if we were a for-profit, nobody would ever ask us any questions about, well, why did you spend so much on marketing? Why do you even have an art director? Why do you have, if we were a for-profit, none of those questions would be an answer. But what people don't understand in the nonprofit space is like we're competing with for-profits and other nonprofits to make a dent. And we want people to support us. You know, if you got to make a choice between buying your 18th pair of sneakers versus donating that amount to us, I mean, we want you to donate it to us. So that's why it has to look good. Not only look good, feel good, we do good. We do a great job of showing our work. You know, I will say that. And yeah, man, but it's war out here, especially in nonprofit space, man. Like we trying to do everything that we can to set ourselves apart, and that's why the brands love us. That's why people
they're catching on. They're catching on.
That's why they're copying us too.
Yeah.
So I'm curious, what are some of the craziest things that have happened at an event? I can only imagine that you get some rowdy kids or rowdy parents in the last 11 years. I mean, man, there's got to be some stories.
I remember I was in Baton Rouge at City Brooks, and you know, some of the neighborhoods that we be in ain't the best neighborhood all the time, and that's okay because that's what we're supposed to be. You know, I know that. I'm from the hood. I feel comfortable, but it's like it's interesting. We had this one time we were starting this class, and like these kids are, you know, just riding around the neighborhood, riding around the pool with a shotgun on his bike, just riding around. It's just like not he don't hunt. He don't hunt. He don't got no license.
He ain't got no camouflage on. Ain't got none of that. But another story. So we activate in the Tenderloin neighborhood in San Francisco. Have you ever been to the Tenderloin? The TL?
No.
Any chance?
Ooh.
Okay. Well, the Tenderloin in San Francisco, you know, I've been in a lot of places in the country. The TL is probably one of the roughest places that I have ever spent time in, like kind of extensively. So, you know,
every year we got a crazy
Every year we got to go. Every year is a crazy story there, man. I done seen a lot of things I wish I could unsee in the TL. We done been robbed in the Tenderloin, man. I done lost everything in the Tenderloin. We got to definitely have a tie to that community. So, you know.
And I think a lot of it's just, and I'm trying to think of like crazy, like specifics, but a lot of it has to do with like logistical issues. Like, can this person, like, you know, we missing flights trying to get to these places, or a lot of it is sometimes, I think it's the coolest when we're actually trying to do the things that are outside of our space. That's when I think is kind of the cooler stories. Like we were having, like the ACL thing. Like we were literally sitting down having our meeting with the lady that booked us for the music side, right? And we told her about our vision for Tankproof. Hey, we want to do something crazy. We want to sponsor all the water stations. And she's like, really? Oh, that's doable. The guy that makes that decision is literally right outside. Crazy.
That's nice.
You know what I'm saying? And so we talked to the guy on the spot. Hey, look, we want to make these water stations happen. He's like, okay, so here's why it was such an easy sell. The water sponsor that year was Liquid Death. And he's like, we really can't put that on branding. Here, drink some Liquid Death, right?
Yeah, it just looks crazy.
It just looks crazy.
I mean? Like you know, if someone does happen to die out there, they'll be like, oh, yeah, look, you did that.
That's probably the worst company
So they're really cautious about that.
For what you guys do.
After Travis Scott's Astro World, everybody is like walking on eggshells, as they should, because music festivals are kind of dangerous sometimes. But, you know, they definitely didn't want to put that on the water station. So they wanted something, you know.
So, hey guys, why don't y'all put Tankproof on it? Oh, great. Just design us something. It's a great cause. Because here's the thing about it. They have been hearing about Tankproof in their offices for the past year, because a lot of people that work there have volunteered with us in the community, so they're familiar with the brand. And so that's why I think it was such an easy sell as well, because there were so many people that were actually in the office that were aware of the organization and who we are.
That's cool. Any look at Arizona or Phoenix? You know, we got pool dents here, man. There's definitely
Yes, we got some friends out there in the music space, and and of course I'm kind of you guys' friends as well now. But I think it's possible. It's definitely something that, you know, can be done with the right support. And so for those that are interested, we only need 3 things to do swimming lessons. We call it our 3 Ps. We need people, participants and partners. The people are us, our instructors, the people that help to make it happen. The participants are the people that we serve, the kids that we serve, and the partners are the people that support us with the space, financially, in kind, the things that we need to actually execute the lesson. So if we have those three, we could do it on the moon. You know what I'm saying? So
I think you'd get a lot of support. You know, like I said, we're pool dense. There's a lot of pool builders that would probably love to attach their name to what you're doing because it's really cool. So happy to, we obviously have a lot of connections too. We're happy to make some introductions when time is right.
No, we love it.
I love it. Anybody who's in the pool space, pool builder space, you know, especially for these businesses, some really cool ways to get involved is become a monthly donor. Like sign up.
It's very simple. Yeah.
$100 a month, $200 a month. For a lot of these pool, you know, people that ain't nothing. They just think about that. They probably spend that much on copy paper still. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, that is a really cool way to get involved. It is a consistent way to get involved and
low barrier of entry too. Yeah.
So most of the lessons throughout the country, are they always at a different location? Like if you're in LA, is it always at a different, like how do you choose locations?
So where we do lessons, now we don't do them at the same place every single time. One thing that I think is really cool about us is that we do lessons sometimes in some really unassuming places like beautiful boutique hotels or private membership clubs or, you know, cool things like that. And I like that because I feel like it's an extra layer of enrichment for the kids that come in and do our lessons. Because there are studies that show that beautiful spaces can literally heal trauma. Beautiful spaces can reverse some of the bad that trauma has been done for kids.
So again, kind of like what you were talking about, everything speaks. So even where we have our lessons is almost intentional. We sometimes have our lessons at college campuses and universities because, hey, most of these kids have never been at these sites before. How awesome would it be to put a child in an environment that a lot of times these colleges is right down the street? To put them in a space that they've never been before, to almost plant that seed of possibility. If the swimming lesson is going to do it, the environment that they're in is going to help seed possibility, the music that they're hearing is going to help open their minds to new things. So every little bit and every piece of it matters. And we kind of like to use our locations as a way that we can expand the brand. Like, for example, in Austin, Texas, we have consistent lessons at Austin Motel, which is like one of the pillars of the community. Imagine like a spot in town. For those that don't know the Austin Motel,
so dope.
It's definitely one of the most iconic locations in the city. And so for them to have, you know, for us to have pretty much access to do lessons there whenever we want is golden. Another entity or a partner that we've done things at, Soho House. I don't know if you're familiar with Soho House. They have them all over the world, private, you know, exclusive membership club. You know what I mean? A lot of high net worth individuals that are in these spaces, and they allow our kids and our organization to use their pools. So for us, yeah, it is awesome that we get to take these kids into these beautiful spaces and environments, because otherwise they might not ever get a chance to go to Soho House like that. But we get them in that environment. We get them breakfast. They get the nice little towels and robes and stuff like that.
Yeah, and we
I'm
just
so
want to
jealous.
possibility.
I need to go to one of these events like soon.
He's like, I'm a kid.
Volunteer. I want
We just
all the
want them to
swag.
feel
Like I don't know
like-
how to swim, and I want to be a volunteer. Just give me some swag.
But again, wrapping that up, man, we just want them to know that, hey, look, you belong in these spaces. Like, you know, you belong here. So enter it confidently and just come to learn and feel the good vibes.
Yeah.
Do you guys have anything, you know, upcoming, exciting for, you know, the future? We're moving into 2023. This will actually release in 23. So
There is never a bad time to support. Always, look, you can check us out on Instagram. If you want to see the work for yourself, go to our Instagram at Tankproof. Or like we said earlier, go to www.tankproof.org to get tapped in and locked in and make sure you support.
This year is going to be a huge year for Tankproof. We're going to be going in the cities that we're in. We're going to be investing even more love. So if you're in any of the cities that we're in, if you're not in any of the cities that we're in and want to bring Tankproof there, we're open for conversations. Again, please drop us a line. Go to our website at www.tankproof.org to learn more and to donate today to create and to be a part of the wave of change sweeping all across America. Thank y'all so much.
you guys are so awesome. Thank you again.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you so much for listening. If you enjoyed the show, please subscribe wherever you get your podcasts and leave us some feedback. We'd love to hear from you. You can find everything discussed in this episode and more in our show notes below or poolchasers2.0.com. This episode was produced by the amazing Kyle Auld. I'm Greg Villafana, and you've been listening to the Pool Chasers Podcast.